And so if you're thinking about buying, in all seriousness, rates are not going to be coming down here next year in the near future. I would really be seriously considering buying right now while people are on the sidelines. Hey everybody, Jaysen Barlow with Sell for 1%, here with Rich Sircone. It is Friday, September 22nd, 2023, the year of our Lord, and we are here with an update on state of the market, interest rates. Rich, thumbs up or thumbs down? What's going on out there, man? The Fed said rates
Well, thumbs up meaning rates are up.
So Fed said that we're not going to raise rates right now, but then we're also more hawkish than what they've been indicating. And so what's happening?
Well, yeah, as we have said in many of our previous discussions, it's not always about what does the Fed do in this particular meeting, but the more important thing is what is the language coming out of that meeting. So if you were just watching it from a 30,000 foot flyover, you'd say, well, the Fed kept rates the same. That's great. Then at least mortgage rates are the same as they were. But after the meeting, the statements that were made by Jerome Powell were all hawkish in terms of interest rates. They indicated there were some economists who felt they may raise their inflation target. It's been 2%. Like the Fed's mandate is to keep inflation under 2%. And there was some talk that they may raise that target to maybe 3 or 3.5 or 4% and tolerate a little bit more inflation and not try to fight it with higher interest rates. But they said, no, we're keeping our target at 2%. And then they further went on to say that looking at 2024, there was a consensus of what they felt the target interest rate would be in 2024. And I don't remember what that number was, 4.25%, but whatever it was, they raised that target to a higher target level, meaning that rates will stay higher longer and that potentially there may be additional increases in interest rates depending on what the data shows. So
they had a target for interest rates in 2024 kind of to track progress and try to keep inflation down and interest rates at a reasonable level. And now they have moved that kind of goal or that prognosis, I guess, that rate up
to a higher target level.
It would be embarrassing if they had to move that up again, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So by moving it up, they're basically saying that, we may not lower rates as soon as people thought we were, and we may raise rates more than people thought we might raise them.
And this is not good news. It's an arbitrary target that we might raise up again here in the next 6 months.
Right. It's to be determined by the data, but the data that they're seeing is that the economy is strong, and that at least when you look at the unemployment numbers, unemployment is low. So people are retaining their jobs, but the economy is moving stronger and stronger. And so they feel they can fight the economy and drive down inflation without people losing their jobs. At least that's the feeling, that we won't cause a full-blown recession. They call it a soft landing, as opposed to a hard landing would be a recession, a major recession. But they feel now they can kind of land the plane into a soft landing and lower inflation without completely crashing the economy. And they feel emboldened to continue to raise rates to fight that as much as they see fit. Again, to determined by the data that comes out, determined by the economic numbers. Right.
What's happening is they've been saying it was going to be a soft landing for the last year, and now they're shifting to probably it may not be a soft landing, is how I took what Powell is saying, is that they're getting rid of that term. But did I misinterpret that when he was talking?
You may have heard something I missed. I didn't catch the whole speech, but from what I read, they feel that, because the economic, the employment numbers are staying steady, they feel that the potential for a soft landing is much better, even with higher interest rates, than what many people were feeling, that if you keep raising rates, you're going to crash the economy. They're not feeling that way anymore. At least that's what I heard. Maybe you heard something different.
No, and that
I
may
didn't
be
see the whole speech.
that may be the correct interpretation of what he was saying. But then when they're talking about, well, we're going to actually raise them more than what we thought, and they're going to be higher for longer. I mean, I've been thinking that, and we've been talking about that, for the entire,
Right.
last couple of weeks, because it's like, they have to, you cannot tell people a year ago, 2 years ago, when Silicon Valley is starting to falter, you cannot tell people that, yeah, it's going to be way worse than we thought for long. All this is kind of slow walk. And so, the other day I made a post and a joke about, Realtor.com came out and said that rates are going to be close to 6% in 2024. And then, Fed comes out and is like, no, we're probably going to raise them more than we thought, more than we've been saying. And it's like, this has been going on for years, like I said, where it's transitory, it's supply line. I mean, we talk about it on every video where it's a different excuse every week. And it's like, no one wants to admit the real problem, which is that we spend way too much money and that we printed way too much cheap money. And Rich, you're 100% right. We're a victim of our own success. Prices in real estate in Columbus, sales are down, but prices are up 10, 12% still. And so as the Fed sees that across the country, they see that as a sign of not what we know it as a supply and demand issue, because the supply is too short, which is only exacerbated by the interest rates going up and people holding on to 3% rates. It's just this huge ball that, it keeps running. I think they're going to raise rates. We'll have, maybe we have the soft landing. If they can pull it off, it'd be pretty amazing. But I think that we'll see some major failures next year, is my prediction, like a Lehman Brothers style. And then I think we'll see rates get cut. It's either that or we're going to be in a hot war with Russia. That's how I see this ending. It's either we're going to do this again for 10 years or we're going to end up in a war.
Or
we continue to kick the can down the road, which I think is exactly what this is, where it's like, we're coming in for a soft landing, and a soft landing is our objective. And I don't know if it's going to happen. Tune in next month as we continue to kick the can down the road.
Yeah.
Well, and for, people that are thinking about buying or selling, I mean, election years typically are going to be a down year. And we're heading into the winter months, which is typically when less homes are selling than in the spring and summertime. And so if you're thinking about buying, in all seriousness, rates are not going to be coming down here next year in the near future. I would really be seriously considering buying right now while people are on the sidelines. Go lock, some of these sellers are freaking out and they're cutting price. A lot of price cuts. A lot of price cuts. A lot of realtors have never seen a market like this where prices go down and they don't know really what to do other than that, well, you must be overpriced and we cut price. And so as that's happening here in the winter months, keep an eye out, look for a deal, go buy it up, because eventually it will cycle back and rates will get back down to 6, whether it's next year, 2 years, 3 years. Rich can help you with a 2-1 buy down where we can get that rate down now. There's assumable mortgages out there. I don't see really many realtors advertising that yet, but they're out there. Most of these people have mortgages. Go assume that 3, that 4, that 5% rate, and then borrow the rest with Rich. I mean, there's all kinds of methods to pull this off.
What I would say, Jaysen, and I appreciate what you're saying, is that if you can find a deal on a home right now, let's say that there's a $600,000 home that 8 months ago would have sold for $625 or $650, and now it's sitting on the market and the seller is willing to take $550 for it. So basically, you save $50,000 off the list, plus maybe another $25 or $30 or $40,000 over a list that it would have normally sold for. You've easily saved $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 on this home, and you're paying a higher interest rate. Yeah, but your higher interest rate is maybe causing a $250 a month increase in your payment. So for $200 a month, you're getting a $50,000 discount on the home that we're going to refinance that loan anyway. If you wait until rates go down into the low sixes again, everybody's coming out of the woodwork, and that $600,000 home is going to be $650 again. So there's a lot of money to be saved here, and not to be looking at a couple $100 a monthly payment that's going to bother you, that's going to get refinanced later, most likely anyway.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause people like me that are chicken littles waiting for the market to crash, the one thing that really works against that is supply shortage. Where is this huge flood of inventory going to come from? I mean,
Right.
people talk about Airbnb crashing. I think that you could see a crash in the commercial sector, and I could see residential correcting too. But, I mean, right now with nothing for sale, I mean, they're taking longer to sell, but my listings are still getting damn near full price, if not more, even if it's taking, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, instead of it taking 2 days, 3 days. And so, the market may be a little bit more balanced, but prices are still going up. And again, that's why the Fed is doing what they're doing, and they're going to keep raising rates because it hasn't cracked yet. And so they're going to raise them until it cracks. And that's kind of what's scary, I guess, is that all this data is trailing. I mean, and you don't really know what damage you're doing with the rates until you get a year. And we're not even, when did they get back to like restrictive levels, Rich, in July? Or, I mean, we have not been there that long where we're back up to, these levels. I mean, it'll be interesting to watch, but if you're on the fence about buying, as Jaime talks about, Columbus, you're anchoring into an awesome area. And, sellers, it's a good time to cash out because no one really knows what is coming next. And buyers, lock in your rates, because the one thing I can tell you, again, I'm on video making a prediction. Rates are going to go up next year. They're not coming down. And so, if you're really serious about buying, I lock in that rate now while you can, and then look to refi in 3 years, 4 years. And again, me and Rich and Jaime, we got creative ways to guide you, to get you guys hooked up. You need anything, call Rich. His number's in the description below on the screen, 614-314-2666. I know like 4 people's numbers that aren't my contacts. Rich is one of them. That's how good he is at doing his job. And then, of course, give me and Jaime a call at 614-451-6616 for all your real estate needs. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, ring the bell for more real estate content. We'll wrap this thing up. Go Bucks. Beat the Irish.
Go Bucks.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys. Thank you. Thanks for having me.